What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. For most players in Rocket League, Grand Champ is the ultimate goal. However, anyone who's played at Grand Champ 1 knows that it is the most wildly inconsistent rank, and that the distance from Grand Champ 1 to Grand Champ 2 feels like the distance from Diamond all the way to Grand Champ. In this video, we look at some Grand Champ 1 gameplay and talk about some of the really common mistakes that happen and ways to fix them so that you can climb all the way through this rank, no matter how treacherous it seems. If you enjoy the video or feel like you learned something, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm a completely free coach, so if you want coaching for yourself, you can hit the Discord link in the description to sign up, and without further ado, enjoy the video. Let's get straight into it. Positioning looks decent as well. I think like this is me being a bit more nitpicky, but you see like after you grab the mid boost, how much you use to get over here. Like very, very nitpicky, but just pay attention to...
Could have probably used the flip to get the momentum.
Yeah, it's not the biggest deal. Like, you're positioning fine. It's just, again, I'm going to be nitpicky because this is Grand Champ already, so it's time to get nitpicky for all the little things. So just pay attention to your boost usage. You don't want to be wasting a lot. I think, personally, that's an area where I could improve as well. So just pay attention.
But then we might do that a lot today.
Yeah. So... this is something I brought up in another video I put out. I had a lot of focus on positioning really aggressively when your teammate has the ball on offense. So you'll see a lot of the time that coaches will tell you not to get in front of your teammate here, right? Does that sound like something familiar?
Yeah, that does sound like something familiar.
So I'm still sticking to that. I don't think you should get necessarily in front of him, but I would say that this ball is your teammate's, right? They're not challenging him or anything, and you're right over here. Where when your teammate has control of the ball on offense, that's an open door to stay aggressively positioned somewhere over here to get a pass. Because getting a pass across that midfield line, it's one of the easiest ways to score on net. Because as this player, it's much easier to see a teammate who's over there than someone behind them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is something I tell people to do when your teammate has control on offense, because if we look at his perspective on this, right, he's going to have control of the ball and he's got no support necessarily. And I think that comes from you positioning a little bit too much close to him, where you can see, like, we saw in his perspective, okay, he's not looking.
Yeah, he has no idea I was there.
Right. But it would still be more helpful to stay honestly right about where you are right now, just a bit more forward. To be open for the pass, and I only say that because he has the control on attack. If he has the control on defense, I would still say play more passive, play more defensive, just because on defense there's a much, much higher chance that if he gets 50'd, it goes in your net. So all that is to say, when your teammates have control of the ball on offense, that's when it's okay to position a lot more aggressively. Because I know at GC you probably have really good recoveries and you can get back quick. I don't know what your teammate's doing here, by the way. Like, look at how slow he's going. You're doing fine right now. Great 50. I love this decision too. So I've seen a lot of players, this is not for you, this is just in general. I've seen a lot of players who want to turn from the corner here and challenge it. I hate this challenge. You can do it sometimes, you can sometimes get away with it, but good job not going for this ball and leaving it for your teammate who's going to have a better angle. So nice job there. This is the same deal as well, where when he has the ball like this, and given, yes, you're far away, you just got boost, so you can't get there, but it's just to kind of show you a bit more what I was talking about, where when he's got the ball like this, see where he's looking?
Yeah, he's looking at the complete other side of the field.
Exactly. So this is very, very common because it's safe where players will position where you are. You're taking the very safe option, but you're basically forcing him to solo play, and just being more over here is an option to pass to. So again, something to pay attention to. Only do this when your teammate has full control on offense.
Yes, makes sense.
And look where the ball goes, right? So again, you were far away, but you know, you could get to this spot a little quicker, turn right away after grabbing this boost and get to that right side offensive, a little more aggressive positioning. Do you know what I'm going to tell you? I'm curious if
I'm
you
not
saw
sure.
it.
No.
No, so this is still not bad. Your positioning seems pretty on par, but from after the challenge, right here, let's count the amount of small pads you get. There's 430 on the clock right now, and we'll pause the next time you get a small pad, okay?
Missed that. Drove past all of those. Still don't have one. There we go.
Yeah, crazy, right? Well, it was 431, so 12 seconds go by where you don't pick up any extra boost for yourself. It's such a tiny thing, but paying attention to it throughout the course of the game, like I said, you position fine. You know, you're doing okay for your team. It's not really that threatening, but you're just not giving yourself as much resources to work with as you could be. So a little bit better boost padding as well, right? You know, definitely pay attention to it because those small pads are going to be your savior in a lot of games. It happens all the time. It's a big difference from GC1 to GC2. You can keep up with the pace of everything, but sometimes it's like, oh, if only I had 12 more boost in the tank, makes a big difference. Which, let's...
Like,
yeah. Anyways, yeah.
I just immediately missed the flip as well.
Exactly. Yeah, now you're out fishing for big boost, where when going back like this, honestly, tell yourself in your games from now on, your GC, you do not need 100 boost for pretty much anything anymore. It's a nice to have, it's not a need to have. You have 36 right here, and you can be turning on a ball that gets dangerous a lot quicker, right?
Yeah.
And the 92 right now on screen is just a replay glitch. Even here, you know, like, it's already been a pattern. You know, you miss all of those. You could be at 100 challenging this, right? Just from small pads. So far, the positioning looks really solid. Like, right there, don't be afraid. Just get in his face. Because those flicks, if he executes a better flick, that's so dangerous. Ooh, nice control. I really like this. This is very patient of you. Taking control, keeping it in your corner. Really well done here. A lot of players panic.
And I get immediately sent.
I mean, it's okay, but look, see where the challenge goes, right? You challenge him in your corner after. Doesn't matter that you get bumped. Just go straight back out, your teammate's there to cover, and you have an attack. Shot could have been a little better. A little bit better placed. You know why he was able to catch up to this? It's because...
I could have definitely jumped later.
That, but you're also spinning in the air, which I'm sure you heard this from other places too. Spinning in the air can help you kind of control where you're going and make sure that you're holding air roll when you touch the ball.
It's also slower.
Yeah, but yeah, when you spin, you actually use a little bit more boost just because you're not going directly straight. So any angle your nose turns just a little bit is something you have to correct for. And then you also just don't get to it as fast. I think had you just gone straight up, no spins, just as fast as possible. I want to point something out too. Have you noticed in game, like when you're in the air, when you reach supersonic speed in the air, you kind of get the white streaks on your screen. You can see the camera move just a little bit. You can even hear it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Pay attention to that right here, right now. See when it happens with your car compared to when you jumped for the ball. Right there. Yeah.
Right before it hits, yeah.
So that's the point of not spinning when you jump. It's like, it's not hurting you all that much, but it's taking away from some of the speed on the play where you could probably have it right about here. And then this guy on orange would be struggling a lot more to get into his net. Plus, when you don't spin, you're going to have an easier time just aiming your shots. So when it comes to going for fast aerials, try to keep the spinning to a minimum. I will say that it's good when you are hitting the ball because air rolling when you hit the ball, it at least feels like you hit it harder, but also it'll stop the whiplash from the ball moving your nose. I'm sure you know that, right?
Yeah.
Let's continue. But yeah, I think that could be a goal right there. I'll say this too. When you're Grand Champ, you should know where the big boosts are. So I would get in ball cam a lot sooner than this, right?
Yeah, that's what I've noticed a lot with my plays too, that I tend to stay in car cam quite a lot when going for boost.
Yeah, so I think definitely trust yourself to know. This is actually one of the worst fields in Rocket League for visual indicators. I've told this to a bunch of people, but most fields will have lines on them, like visual indicators that go right to the boosts. Like I said, this one is one of the worst because there's actually nothing that points to the corner. But most fields, like Champions Field, the new one, they have these big white lines that connect all the boosts. So you can use those while you have ball cam on to just know where the boost is going to be without having to take your eye off the play. Right here, this is a small pad opportunity as well. I would instead, after this ball goes center, you drive this way. This is fine.
Just for the small pads, yeah.
This is fine, but I would just cut over to these small pads because that just keeps you closer to the play, where if your teammate makes a big play on it and you're, for example, somewhere around here going for this small pad, that's a really easy turn on your net. And instead of going for this, where you'd be too far away to capitalize on something. Make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Because like right here,
really far away, can't challenge it.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's not how the game went. It's just a good habit to be in, right? Ooh, very patient. This is really good out of you. I really like this. You see that he doesn't jump, so you wait for it to bounce. Really nice. The initial setup gets a bit far away from you, so like we'll talk about this as well. But these bounce pops, they're very hard to get control of. And it's because most players will hit the ball like this, where it's a little far away and you have to use a ton of boost to catch up. It's a lot more readable that way. So one of the things I am thinking will be a good area for practice as well is these bounce pops, trying to keep it really close to your car where you can air dribble it, get more influence on it, something like that. I think that will change plays like this where you have just a bit more control and you're not forced into this one double tap, but overall nicely done. You're going, you don't have 85 boost here. You have, what, 0? Yeah.
Yeah.
Down the middle. Let your teammate have this area of the field. You do not need this boost. Right? Same.
I could have gone down the middle and then turned to face like the opposite side.
Yep, because when you go down the middle, you also have this line here that's going to direct you towards the boost, and you'll have ball cam on the whole time, so you can see that once your teammate wins that, somewhere around here, either you get this pad or a little before, but then you just turn back this way instead, and then you're in that aggressive position where he can either pass it to you, shoot it, and it's that same deal. Your teammate has control on offense. You want to be aggressively positioned, ready for a pass. And I think that that's one of the biggest missed opportunities in Grand Champ 1. People do play really, really safe, and it's not a bad thing, especially if you're up. But if you need a goal, which you do right now, tied at 0-0, you want to have a little bit more, I guess I'll call it courage, to play this really aggressive angle. Of course he scores. But I wished you'd be here and ready, because this covers the clear as well, where you can just keep it on their half and keep applying pressure.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the safe play come out of me a lot.
Well,
it's still early season and I don't trust the mates.
Right. I mean, that's okay if, like, this is the scenario now where you're ahead, right? Nice full speed back on defense. Oh, no.
And then that happens.
I've said this to every player I've coached, especially with double taps incoming. You either want to be on the backboard. The safest thing to do is stop this before it bounces off the backboard. That's your teammate's job right now. If you end up in this position as yourself, inside the net defense.
Yeah, get behind the fucking goal line. Because that's not going to end well.
Especially with double taps coming in. So I'll repeat it again loud and clear for anyone who watches this in the future. If a double tap is incoming, the best time to touch it is before it goes off your backboard. And then the next best thing to do if you're on the ground like this is get inside the net and pray they put a weak one on. But when you start hitting Grand Champ, people's double taps are deadly, and then you end up outside the net like this, and it gets awkward, right? You win this ball, but I hate the challenge. I hate these challenges. I would honestly love to just like be right here where you are, essentially daring him to hit it away from himself, and then you go position a little bit more defensively. Just because challenging in your opponent's corner is really risky, because if you jump and he flicks this past you, then you've basically left your teammate in a 2v1. right? It's really good that you win the ball, and I'm not saying never take risks, you know, like it works out, but this is a really dangerous challenge. So if you are going to go for it, you absolutely have to hit the ball. These situations, I would also try to keep it a bit closer. Like, yes, you get the little love tap with your teammate, but right here, yes, it's a tough read, but try to use the audio cues to understand, like, is someone challenging immediately? But he's not. And this, it's a good clear to recover, but it's your boost amount again.
It throws away possession as well.
Yeah, which it can be okay in twos. Sometimes you just need to get the ball out of there so your team can get boost and recover, but then you want it to basically be going all the way to Orange's back wall, if you can manage it. And then what I really was looking at is the boost amount when you land. You used all that boost to follow it to something you probably already know you're not going to hit. So I would just save the 12. Like, I'm not even going to focus too much on the rest of the play. Obviously, if you can keep it closer in this situation, great. But when you hit it too far away from yourself, make sure you have that 12 in the tank so that when you land, you can get back up to supersonic speed and you're not going to end up chasing down boost and now with 0 trying to recover, right? Good far post rotation. I don't like this. Like, good win, but you would have a much easier time just going on your backboard. Because when the ball rolls up like this, if they have to hit it down, you can also just drive downwards on your backboard, jump out at it. I've seen you play. I know you have the mechanical skill to do it. So just when it rolls up off your back wall and you're in this position, easy backboard defense. Because then you save all your boost, and instead of having to 50 this and have 30, you have like 80 in the tank, and you've hit it much harder to their side. Ooh, okay. This is a tricky net rotation, and what I want to see you do is instead drive this way, pick up this middle, and come into your net at far post instead of driving into your net at near post and drifting and turning around. Doing this, it gets you that 12 extra boost, and you keep momentum going back towards the same exact spot where you don't have to drift and turn around, right?
And just one boost.
Yeah, exactly. Decent defensive is fine while you're up. Good clear too, very powerful. All right, we talked about this twice now, right?
Yeah, should have been on the right side again.
You were exactly in the right spot where you see your teammate take control. Beautiful. Like, look, you're pointed the right way. You have tons of boost. You have space. Just take this, wait for a pass. If it doesn't come, that's fine. You just cross back over, go back to your net. Instead, you literally leave a nice open position where this guy's going to be able to see you to go behind him, which in twos, when your teammate has control on offense, it's okay to position aggressively.
I think even me, it's just that I don't trust the mates at this round, really.
That's fine. You don't have to trust your mates. You just have to be open for the pass. Maybe they don't pass it. Maybe they suck at passing. Trust yourself and your recoveries that when you do position aggressively, you're able to get back quick enough where it's not dangerous. Because let's now look at your teammate again. This is what I showed you earlier. You know, he sees you out there. Imagine you had positioned aggressively, wide open for a pass. Even if he decides to shoot it, it's much, much better if instead from this angle, he sees you in front of where this orange guy is. Yeah. So I'll repeat it time and time again. When your teammate has full control on offense, it's okay to position aggressively. Thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. I really hope there was some stuff in there that you can pick up on and implement into your own games. I want to remind you these videos take a ton of work and I choose to do it for free. So please consider subscribing and I'll see you in the next one.